Hey, good morning. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. It's 11:12 on Sunday, the 16th of May, 2021. We've got a small tornado warning that won't last particularly long across portions of the Middle Texas coast. This is east of Corpus Christi, and this does not include Port Aransas. This is a waterspout out over the bay currently southeast of Aransas Pass and west of Port Aransas. Specifically, if this were to move onshore, it could impact the immediate coastal region on the west side of the bay near Aransas Pass and Highway 361. This is a look at which way the wind is blowing, and you can see we've got a very good indication of a waterspout. This is out over the bay, so this is a waterspout. And there you've got the latest scan. You can see this waterspout's about to move onshore just east of Ingleside towards Aransas Pass. Could impact Highway 361 between Ingleside and Aransas Pass as this waterspout tries to move onshore. A waterspout typically won't last particularly long over land. They're typically quite weak, and like I said, this shouldn't last particularly long. But we could have a brief tornado as this waterspout moves onshore. When a waterspout moves onshore, that is when it becomes a tornado. So that is what we have going on here this morning. A very short duration tornado warning until 11:30 a.m. for a thunderstorm capable of producing a waterspout, and that would turn into a tornado if it were to move onshore here on Aransas Pass. This will not impact Port A whatsoever. This tornado warning doesn't include Port A at all. This tornado warning includes areas just east of Ingleside, Highway 361, as it comes up into Aransas Pass. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind is blowing mode. Yeah, you can see this is a little waterspout, and it's going to be coming onshore. Let me go ahead and see if I can get some roads displayed here, and you can probably tell by the demeanor in my voice, this isn't something that I think is a violent, big tornado or something I think is going to last very long. This is a waterspout moving onshore, and we could have a couple more of these today. There's a decent amount of low-level wind shear across the Middle Texas coast, South Central Texas, and Southeast Texas this morning and this afternoon. It's a very tropical-like environment, what you'd expect in mid to late June versus mid-May. So there is certainly the potential we could be dealing with some waterspouts, and those could become brief tornadoes as they move onshore. So again, this is State Highway 361 near Kenny Lane, and then Beasley Avenue. And then, of course, you get a little farther northeast and you get into Aransas Pass up into town. So, those of you on Aransas Pass right now, it's pouring rain. Those of you in Ingleside, it should be raining right now, may have just stopped. And then we could have a rain-wrapped waterspout that would move onshore very near Highway 361 and Kenny Lane, just east of Ingleside, just south of Aransas Pass, continuing to move almost northeast. I don't think this is going to last very long, and frankly, by the time we get the next radar scan here in probably the next 60 to 90 seconds, that circulation, assuming it's onshore, may already have dissipated. So what I think we have had happen is a waterspout out over the base, west of Port Aransas, south of Aransas Pass, moving north-northeast. It probably came onshore very near Highway 361 and Kenny Lane, and likely became a brief tornado. These don't typically produce too much damage, but of course, remember, waterspouts are just tornadoes over water. And in this case, this is not your fair weather waterspout. This is more definitely associated with a strong to severe thunderstorm. So this could have produced a weak tornado that could cause damage if it hits your house. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. We'll zoom on out and you can see we've got other thunderstorms ongoing across South Texas, moving into the Middle Texas coast this morning. We've got heavy rain and thunderstorms, a lot of lightning from Alice up to Mathis, all the way up Highway 377 through Woodsboro up towards Victoria, Port Lavaca. And then we've got flash flood warnings across portions of the Middle Texas coast into Southeast Texas. We've had several inches of rainfall in these locations from near Edna to El Campo to Bay City this morning, and we've got some roads underwater in those regions. We're going to have a lot more flash flood warnings this week. It's going to be a very wet week across the state of Texas, with the potential for 10 inches of rain in some locations across the eastern third of Texas. So, yeah, we'll be talking a lot more about flooding. All right, let's switch back over, see what the velocity shows, and there you go. The circulation's moved onshore and become much, much weaker. So, in all likelihood, we had a waterspout out here over the bay, west of Port Aransas, just east of On the Bay, southeast of Ingleside, and south of Aransas Pass. Let me see if I can get some of this data to load. As we go back to about 11:05 this morning, you can see circulation intensifying over the bay. Very strong signs of a waterspout. This is 11:07. 11:08, that continues to move north-northwest. The Weather Service in Corpus Christi issues a tornado warning for the immediate coastal regions around Aransas Pass. Circulation... Hey now, come on. Circulation continues to move towards land, very near Kenny Lane and Highway 361. Circulation moves onshore, and the circulation becomes much weaker. So that's what we typically expect with these stronger storms in a summertime environment that could produce waterspouts that then transition into brief tornadoes as those circulations move onshore. So that, unless something drastic happens, should be the end of that. But the tornado warning technically continues until 11:30 a.m. So another about 11 minutes. Let's see if I can get the radar down in Brownsville to load, and we would have taken a quick look at that, but it looks like I broke the radar. So we do expect the potential for a few more brief tornadoes this morning across south central Texas, the coastal plains, the middle Texas coast, and maybe even southeast Texas as well. This isn't associated with a springtime severe weather pattern. This is more of a summertime situation, a lot of moisture. It's a late June type weather pattern across south Texas, so summer-like. We just happen to have a little bit of extra low-level wind shear to spin some of these storms up, especially as they are over the Gulf of Mexico. We'll take a quick look at these thunderstorms across South Texas, north of South Padre Island, well north of South Padre Island, well north of Brownsville, east of Raymondville. You'd see a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and little areas of transient weak rotation in proximity of the coast. Again, that's fairly typical with stronger storms in an environment with some enhanced low-level wind shear in combination with a summertime environment. So again, we'll keep an eye on this storm just in case it tries to spin up a new waterspout over the bay. That could move closer to Port Aransas, but for now, we no longer see any defined low-level rotation, and we don't expect any waterspout or significant low-level rotation to last very long once it moves onshore as a brief tornado this morning. So we'll keep an eye on the sky. Otherwise, I'm going to get back to it, getting a weather blog put together with a detailed forecast over what we expect this week across the state. A very wet pattern setting up, June-like indeed, with the potential for 5 to 10 inches of rain in places like the DFW Metroplex, all the way down to the coast in Corpus Christi, Houston, Southeast Texas, East Texas, Texoma. So the threat for flooding will definitely be on the increase by Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's flooding potential could include portions of North Texas, and then localized flooding in proximity of these heavier storms closer to the coast. And then later this evening and tonight, we expect some strong to severe storms across the Texas Panhandle in West Texas, which could then propagate towards the Big Country in North Texas. So, a lot to talk about, and we'll get that blog out over on the Texas Storm Chasers weather blog here by about 1 p.m., and that'll get sent out in the Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, too. So, make sure you've got those resources handy, and we'll have a detailed forecast out there. Otherwise, I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. You'll probably be seeing me again later this morning. So, on behalf of the Bald Leprechaun, y'all have a good morning.